500 miles, 15 states. I was told 54 events. Um, it's only 15 states because we're doing a lot in Texas, and Texas is one big state, I've got to tell you. But the whole point is what we're trying to do is to raise what I'm calling a healthy tsunami of active people. A healthy tsunami that gets us all going to communicate to our legislators. So we've got our points up here. This is, you can read them. It's a little hard to read, but there's 6 points for us. But what you need to know is that you can use your smart or semi-smart phones to advocate. Now, your semi-smart phones or smartphones, if you've got text, all you have to do is get to your text. Okay, get my text thing up here. How's that do? Okay, I have my camera, that's not helpful. All right, text. And what you do is you text to 877, okay, you can handle that, 877, 877. En el parte de mensaje, escribe hermanas, or in English, write nuns, N-U-N-S. And then you text it off. Through the magic of, I don't know, wherever this goes, up in the air someplace, you get a text back asking for your zip code and your email address, because we have to verify you're not spam, that you're a real person. Then what happens is you get a text back with the number, and that will put you through, you hear a message from me reminding you of the 3 points you want to make, your name, where you live, and that you're for immigration reform, in English o en español. And then you get put directly through to your senator's office. We have a very narrow time to get this done. It is expected that it's going to, well, next Monday it comes to the floor of the Senate. It's going to be discussed. We're going to stay on top of the amendments to make sure this doesn't get worse than what it already is. But then we've got the hardest part of all. Before the July 4th recess, by the end of June, the Senate's going to vote on it. And we have got to get a big vote, bipartisan vote, out of the Senate. Because if we get a big bipartisan vote out of the Senate, then we're going to have pressure on the House of Representatives to finally govern and do something. So first it's the pressure on the Senate. And actually, I think one of your senators is gettable. At least one is gettable. Yeah. At least one's gettable. Maybe two if some miracle happens and the Lord zaps him. I don't know. But, or I've been arguing for brain transplants in the Affordable Care Act. But apart from that, but we can get, you all, by using your voice, can put pressure on them. That's what's changing Alabama. That's what's changing our nation. Is we, the people, are finally rising up and saying, this is not about individualism. This is not about fear. What we know is that immigration, welcoming of the stranger, bringing people in, is the glory of our past. But it is the hope for our future. We have got to step back from fear and come back to community. We know our nation is about community, about welcoming people in, about knowing who we are and not being afraid of each other. It is we, the people in the United States, that can form this more perfect union. And while we may do it for ourselves, for our economy, for a lot of crass, selfish reasons, like the Wall Street Journal pointed out, it'll help our current Social Security recipients. But the real reason we do it is because we're better as a nation. And the very last part of the preamble to our Constitution, to me, is the most important. We, the people, forming this more perfect union, but the key part is, yeah, it's for us, but it is for our posterity. It's for Melvin and his friends. It's for all of the kids that come after. We need to fix this now, not just for ourselves, because the next generation and the generation after that will be better for it if we do our work now. So Alabama, we're counting on you. We feel like we're going around planting these seeds. Remember the story from the scriptures about the mustard seed? We prayed on that the other morning. We pray every morning together, all the sisters on the bus. But we prayed about the mustard seed. And that's what the bus felt like, a little mustard seed. So we've encountered a whole flourishing bush already here in Alabama. So let our little seed help nourish this garden. Let's raise up together. Let's make a difference. Let's change it, and let's do it now. Now we have a closing piece, a closing action. It's sort of like exercise. So I need all my nuns up here. Rosemary, you're hiding back there. I see you. Come on up. Come on up. She's probably tweeting. We've all become tweeters. So, okay. Oh, okay. She's from North Carolina, so she's got to make sure she doesn't have it. All right. Okay, now we're just going to call it out, and then it's a participant sport. Watch us first, and then we'll do it together. Ready? And this is what's on our bus. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Raise your hands, raise your voice for comprehensive immigration reform now.
You have to do it 3 times. I'm told if we do it 3 times, you'll remember it. Then for your homework, you have to do it 4 more times, because if you do it 7 times, then you really believe it. Okay? Okay, 3 times.
Raise your hands, raise your voice for comprehensive immigration reform now.
1, 2.
Raise your hands, raise your voice for comprehensive immigration reform now.
Last time, now really do it.
Raise your hands, raise your voice for comprehensive immigration reform now.
I remember nights when my parents would stay up with me learning English and doing homework. That was probably the hardest part. And time went on, and I did get better. I learned English. School got easier. And then in 2011, when HB 56 hit, that's when things went for the worst. I honestly thought that that's where everything would end for me. Every dream I ever had, which had to be destroyed because of that law. I one day dreamt of going to college, and because of that law, it seemed impossible. In 2012, in June, there came out a program called DACA, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, which allows undocumented youth to apply, and then they can apply for a work permit. With that work permit, they can then apply for a social. With that social, they can then apply for a driver's license. And so folks started coming back, started to think, okay, maybe now there's a future for me. Maybe now I'll be able to go to college and become an architect. And so I'd just like to thank everybody for coming, for supporting us, because we really do need this immigration reform. There are 11 million undocumented immigrants here, all wanting a future, and we need the help of you. Thank you.
For making the trip here to be with us. I wanted to make sure that you know that there is a statewide organization called Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice that is working with faith communities and immigrant communities to initially to fight against the HB 56 in Alabama. Is now working to help push for the national reform. Cesar, Melvin, Jose, Cindy, the folks from Tuscaloosa. There are many people here who are part of that effort. And if you're not part of that effort, it is a way just to be part of an amazing transformation that's happening in Alabama. The Alabama legislators, when they passed HB 56, brought about their worst nightmare, which is that they have brought together people of all colors and languages and have really transforming Alabama in a beautiful way. And so I really want to thank you, Cesar, for your words and your leadership. I want you to know that Melvin made a video and told his story along with another young woman, also from Alex City, Melvin. And we were going to show it today if we could have all squeezed into that room. So it's part of the Alabama Stories Project, which ACIJ, the Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice, is doing. So if you go onto YouTube, wait for the truck to get by. If you go onto YouTube and look up AL Immigrant or Alabama Coalition for Immigrant Justice, you can find Melvin's video and other members of the coalition from around the state are making their videos, telling their stories. And this is part of what we're trying to do, is to let people tell their own stories and help break down the stereotypes and build relationships across the state so that we can all build community and really know one another and work for a whole and harmonious state here in Alabama. So we're just really so proud of all the work that the communities are doing, and the landscape here has been changed forever. So be a part of that. We do know that of all the things that you can do to help make change happen, a letter to the editor is one of the most effective things. And so my charge tonight is to ask you to write a letter to the editor supporting change supporting the national reform bill wherever you live. And if you will do that, would you raise your hand and make a commitment? Just a short letter wherever you live. It will make a difference. That's one thing that research shows over and over that representatives and senators do pay attention to. I saw your hand. I took names. Okay.